This video will show us how to animate a sprite in Scratch. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our project. So we're going to give this project a title. And because we're using the parrot sprite, which is actually a Scarlet Macaw, we're going to call it Scarlet Macaw. So we write that at the top here. And then we are going to add our Scarlet Macaw. So let's go down here. There's a little cat sprite. Hover over that. Click on the choose sprite icon, which is a little magnifying glass. Come up to here and we will click on animals. So we narrow our search down a wee bit to find our parrot. You'll see it's all in alphabetical order. So we click on parrot and we have added our parrot. Now there is a problem. We don't really want that cat in there. So we don't want Scratch. We're going to get rid of him. So to do that, we are going to click on his sprite and then click on that small little rubbish bin icon there. And then it's going to ask us, do we want to delete him? Yes, we do. So we'll click yes. And now we have our Scarlet Macaw. We've got our title. We can also change this where it says parrot to say Scarlet Macaw. And we are going to do one other thing before we finish our setup, and that is we're going to make this character a little bit smaller. It says size 100, so we want it half the size. So half of 100 is 50. And now we have our project set up, ready to go. So the next step to our project is we're going to start adding our code. Part 2 of our projects, we're going to be learning about the code blocks and how they work. So the first block we're going to look at is this one in the motion blocks here, move 10 steps. I'm going to drag it over. And when we click it, we notice that our Macaw begins to move. And what we want our Macaw to do is move to there and to there in our animation, move back and forth across the stage. To do that, we're going to have to use some different blocks. We don't want to be clicking it the whole time, so we're going to go into the control blocks, and we're going to grab this block called a forever block. What this means is if we put the forever block over this, it's going to move 10 steps, but it's going to keep repeating that forever. And you'll notice it's gone off the screen, but it's sort of got stuck. It hasn't come back onto the other side or flown around, it's got stuck. So we want it to bounce off that edge of our stage. So we're going to use a motion block for that. And there's a special motion block if you go right down towards the end of the motion blocks, and it's called if on the edge bounce. And you can see when I click it what happens. So we want our Macaw forever responding to if on the edge bounce, and that will create that effect. Next, we want to stop our Macaw from going upside down. You'll notice it's a bit crazy going. It's the thing and it spins around and goes back the other way. To do that, we will need to control the direction of the rotation. So we come down here where it says direction, and we're going to click this middle one, which is left and right direction only. This one here that it was on before is called all round, which is a full rotation. And this one will stop rotation altogether. So you can play around with those to see what they do. But the one we're going to be sticking with is left and right. Lastly, what we can do is we can add an event block, which is a green flag. So we don't have to click on the code each time. We can just click on the green flag like I'm doing right now. And that will start our code going. So in the second or the third part of this, we've done a setup. We've got our sprite, our Scarlet Macaw moving. Now the next thing is to animate it. So the next part of our project is animating our Scarlet Macaw. If we go up to the looks block, and we click on that, we have a whole bunch of things we can do in here. But the one we want to use to make animate is called the next costume block. Now we have several costume blocks. Let's show you what they do. We can choose costume A or B because the parrot over here has two costumes, as you can see, that one and that one. If we click on costume A, that is that one there. If we click on costume B, that is that one. But we have this handy next costume block which will change it for us between A and B. So we're going to use that this time. We're going to pop it into here and then we're going to try our code out. Wow, so it is animating. It's moving like we got going before, and the wings are flapping, but way too quickly. So there's a block that we can use to make this slow down, and we can find that in the control blocks, and it's called a wait block. When we put this wait block in, what's going to happen is the code is going to follow move 10 steps, if on the edge bounce, next costume, and then wait 1 second. So what do you predict is going to happen? Well, let's see. Well, it's certainly slowing the wings down, but the whole bird is slowed down quite a lot, and it's a very slow animation. So let's change that by changing the value or the wait time in here. So we click inside the wait block here, and I'm just going to enlarge that a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And we're going to make that a lot smaller. So to make one smaller, we're going to have to make a decimal number. So we're going to put a point first, and you'll see that's 0, but we want to make maybe 0.2. Let's try that. So that's pretty much solved the problem. I was going to try 0.5, which is half. That's still pretty slow. So what about 0.1? 0.1's not bad. I think I will stick to that. And finally, for this project, we're just going to add a background. So we have our flying Scarlet Macaw animation, and let's add a background to finish off. So I'm going to go to here, choose a backdrop, and again on the little magnifying glass here, and I'm going to narrow that down to outdoor backdrops. And when I look through my backdrops, the one I think is the closest to the rainforest, which is the Scarlet Macaw's natural environment, is the jungle. So clicking on the jungle, and I have now added that in. And that's the first part of our project done. I'm going to save it. Next up, I want you to create a new project by going to File, New, and animate your own character and choose your own backdrop. Good luck.